Hey folks, welcome to my channel Other Musings. This is Sudipta here, back again with another tarot reading, general reading. So this time I'm going to this particular reading will be really focusing on the blessings that are coming your way. Now, before I go into that, first of all, let me start by saying how sorry I am that I couldn't bring a reading to you last week. So when I'm doing this particular reading, it's the week of today is April 16th, 2022. Generally, it has always been my effort to bring you a reading every 2 weeks. But this time, because of different circumstances, and with I have a full-time job, and my health was also not keeping up with me. So I missed doing a reading last week, and I know some of you may be eagerly waiting for that, and I'm sorry. But as I had promised, I have come with that reading that I had promised last week, that it will be a reading on blessings that are coming your way. Now, before I go into that, let me just add some clarification over here. When we think about blessings that are coming our way, we feel like certain miraculous events are going to happen overnight, right? Certain miraculous events are going to happen like, maybe a week down the line, a few days down the line, or maybe a few months down the line. That's going to suddenly change everything for us. Now, while there is certain truth in that, what's more important is, and what we often forget is, I think some of you, there's a very beautiful song called Amazing Grace in English. And I think, and don't quote me on that, I could be wrong. I think Amazing Grace was a song that was written by Saint Francis of Assisi. And it talks about, the grace, the divine blessings, the divine love that is flowing everywhere. That is all around us. Right? So the blessing is all around us. The blessing is always there. The grace is always there. Often, we wonder what we need to do extra, what we need to do differently to get that grace. And we start cursing the universe, we start cursing ourselves, we start cursing all others around us, and we end up making ourselves miserable. We end up making all around us miserable. Right? We end up making the world a little bit a more darker place, as if it is not already. Right? But the thing that we have to keep in mind is, yes, these readings, the essence of this reading, today's reading, will focus on what is coming for you. What is the universe holding out for you? What is that blessing that the universe is promising for you? Right? But to make full use of that blessing, to make full use of that grace, you have to prepare yourself, right? And remember, there's a very nice analogy, there's a very nice story that was narrated by Sant Kabir, one of India's famous saint, Sant Kabir. If you get the chance, do look up his name and do learn about his life. He said there are 4 different kinds of pot. Every human being is one of these 4 different kinds of pots. The first pot is turned upside down, right? So no matter how much it rains, none of the rainwater will make its way through the pot. So the first pot is totally oblivious of any grace or any blessings, right? It's just lost in its own world. Nothing is entering it. Second pot, it's upright, but it's filled. So since it's upright and since it's filled, what happens even if the rain, water drops on top, is going to slide by. Nothing is going to enter because it's already full. This talks about the kind of people, who are so full of themselves, who are so full of their own achievements, who are so full of their own ego, their own personal accomplishment, who are so full of their own vanity, that they are also not receiving that grace, or even if they receive that grace, even they are not being able to retain that grace. That's the second kind of pot. The third kind of pot is again upright, it's empty. but it has leaks all around. It has holes all around. So even if the water goes inside, again, the water will drain out because it has holes all around. Again, this talks about those people, again, they are receiving the grace, but even these people cannot retain the grace because the grace, they are not good receivers. Even if they are getting the grace, they cannot maintain that grace. It's just flowing out. And then comes the fourth kind of pot, the fourth kind of people who are very rare, right? You have an upright pot, no holes of nothing, empty pot. That's the ideal, where the grace comes in and the grace, it can retain that grace. Are the ideal receivers. So remember, that's what this reading hopes to make you aware of. So each of these groups is going to talk about particular things that you need to be aware of. It's going to talk about a particular, your particular blessing, your particular potential, what the universe is holding out for you. At the same time, it's going to also point out certain key things that's going to help you correct yourself. That's going to help you fill up those gaps, right? That's going to help you empty yourself so that you can receive that grace to the fullest. That will hopefully help you become an ideal receiver so that you can make the fullest use of that blessing that is coming out, right? I just wanted to add this clarification because, I know I'm probably making this introduction too big, but oftentimes, we have this feeling that, a blessing means certain miraculous things. And we don't have to do anything. That is not the case, right? Now, having said that, again, so you have 4 groups over here. You have 4 oracle cards in front of you. This is group number 1. This is group number 2. This is group number 3. This is group number 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at these particular groups very carefully. I have decided not to put any crystal this time, because I really want you to, focus on these cards and see which particular oracle card or which particular message is pulling you the most, right? Rather than being distracted by any crystals. So take your time, and as is usual, I'm going to leave these groups in front of you for about a minute or so. Pause the video if needed, and then once you have made your selection, you can go in the description box and click on on the timestamp against your particular group. This time, I'm very sorry to my Bengali viewers. I couldn't again take out time to repeat the reading in Bengali. I do hope to continue that trend in the future, but I am sorry I couldn't do that this time around. So anyway, having said that, I'm going to pause my introduction right now, and I'm going to meet you in your respective reading. Okay, group number 1, for those of you who have chosen this belief card, the group number 1, the first group, you are very troubled soul, group number 1, and I really share your trauma or your sadness or your misery, right? Because 2 things that really catches my eye first and foremost about this particular group, right? It's just, it's, if you look at the number of 5s over here, you have the 5 of angel, which is the 5 of sword, right? That is reversed. You have the 5 of wands. You have the Hierophant, which is again number 5. You have the Vesta, hearth card, 32, which is again number 5. You have over here sweet treat, 50, again number 5, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, again 5 number 5 card. Wow, amazing. So 5 number 5. So 5 is all about, change. 5 is all about conflict. 5 is all about turbulence, right? So I definitely see a soul over here. And then second thing is, before I go into too much, second thing is look at the number of wings. You have the star over here coming out reversed, showing a wing, right? What seems like a broken wings. You have the 9 of angels or the 9 of sword, right? Again with wings. You have the 5 of angels that I've already talked about, the 5 of sword, again with wings. These two reversed, this one upright. So you people are very troubled souls, okay? You people have a lot of sorrow, lot of unhappiness in your life, lot of misery. And I feel like you people are, at a state where you have suffered a lot, where, you have really drained yourself emotionally, physically, and that's why, you have these wings over here. So for example, when I look at the star card, with the coming out reversed, the wings, what appears to be like, the broken wings, right? At least to me, when I look at it, the first thing that comes to me is like, these wings and these two wings, they are being, they are somehow ruptured, right? They have been split apart. And then you have the 9 of sword over here, which in turn talks about misery, sorrow, grief, a lot of trauma. And then you have the 5 of angels, right? So if you look at these two cards here, that these two have come out reversed. So as if you are not being allowed to take flight. As if, your situation, your surroundings, people around you, circumstances have really kept you grounded forcefully. They have not allowed you to, take full flight, to spread your wings. That's why, your wings are grounded. Your wings are, what's appearing to be like broken, what's appearing to be as like, ruptured, right? Your wings are being clipped. You are not being allowed to take flight. You are not being allowed to do what you wish, what you want. What is your desire? You are not being allowed to really let your own wishes, desires, you're not being allowed to fulfill your desires. And then if you look over here, you have this gem card, right? The gem card, you see this beautiful gem, multicolored, multifaceted, right? So it's indicating maybe, you have a lot of qualities. Maybe you have this light, you have this brilliance that is waiting to, kind of be shared with the entire world. A lot of passion, a lot of brilliance, a lot of luminescence, but that is somehow covered by all this weed, all this, this weed around, right? And this weed around is that turbulence. This weed around is that trauma. This weed around is all that crap that you are having to deal with every day. This weed around is all that, mental conflict, the physical problems, maybe financial troubles, whatever it is. So if you look at this one, plus this wing, right, that I've talked about, so it sends a very strong message as if you are someone who's very passionate, who's very sensitive, who's very loving. And then you have the number 11. That's the one that you chose, right? It talks about belief. You have the master number 11. Now, 11 talks about, someone who's very intuitive, who's very psychic, who can, communicate with the other realms, with the spiritual world, who's very sensitive. And what happens generally, unfortunately, with people like this, when you are very sensitive, when you are getting all these kind of mental downloads from the other world, where you are in connection with the spiritual world, where you are in connection with the angels, where you are very sensitive, you are very spiritual, right? generally this kind of people, they have to go through a lot of this trouble and misery in this world, because generally this kind of people, they are of a higher vibration, right? And what happens is higher vibration somehow attracts people of lower vibrations around. It's like a magnet, right? So, and then generally you will find so some of you, if you are familiar with the story of Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva, the Hindu, one of the Hindu trinity, Lord Shiva, he has all these demons and all these fallen souls. He always keeps them around, right? It's like, because he knows that he has to keep them around, because if he forsakes them, then these fallen souls will have nowhere to go, right? So that's why he keeps them close, to out of his compassion, so that these fallen souls, being in his company, they can redeem themselves. His high vibration, can touch upon them. Now, I'm not saying you are Lord Shiva. Obviously, Lord Shiva, is one of the principal trinity. But I'm saying the same kind of principle also applies to you, because you have a magnetic personality. You have that high vibration. You are spiritual. You are connected to that other world, the spiritual world. You may be getting these downloads from your masters, from the universe, right? And so generally, you will be people like this. Will be surrounded by other beings who are not of such a high vibration, right? And then these people around you are going to bring a lot of trouble, lot of misery, lot of grief for you, because they don't share the same worldview as you do. They don't look upon others. They don't look upon the entire world through the same lens as you do, right? So as a result of that, there will be a lot of conflict. They will not see eye to eye with you. They will misunderstand you. They will, heap a lot of troubles on you. Unfortunately, this particular group, right? And in a way, that's what you are. You are meant to overcome, and in a way, that's what you are meant to kind of live with, because you are the Hierophant, right? You are the gem. And Hierophant, is someone, is like a master. Is like a guide. Again, somewhat akin to the analogy of Lord Shiva that I gave you, right? Someone who's very wise, someone who's very elevated, right? Someone who knows what he or she has to do for others, right? And so, again, there's another saying in English: the more powerful you are, the more you have to tolerate, the more you have to forbear, right? So again, if you compare a huge banyan tree versus small weeds or grasses, which one do you think has to bear the most brunt of a storm? It is the banyan tree, right? So when there's a storm, it doesn't really impact the grasses too much, because they are lying low. But it is the banyan tree, which is high up over there, that has to take on the full brunt of the gust, the strong wind. That's what your life is, because you are an Hierophant. You are elevated. You can see what others cannot see. Right? So you have to bear with their ignorance. You have to keep up with their ignorance, and you have to try hard to to make sure that they see what you see. And that's why you are the gem. That's why you have to somehow make sure that your brilliance comes out from within all this wheat covering. And that's what the blessing is coming in, right? Because if you look at this 9 of sword card, yes, you have a lot of conflict around you. Yes, you are deeply depressed. Yes, you are very sad. Yes, you have given enough of yourself. Yes, you have sacrificed enough of yourself, right? You have exhausted yourself. But the good thing is, the angels are around you. See, here the angel is hugging you, right? This is you. And the angel is hugging you, right? So they are saying, your masters, God, universe, or whoever you choose to believe in, they're saying, they are around you. Right? Because they know what you are. And again, that tallies with this, what I was telling earlier about this master number 11, right? Because you are psychic, you are spiritual, you are connected to them. You may be getting downloads from them, right? So they know, they're around you. They feel your sorrow, right? They feel your misery. So even in your most difficult of times, they are around you. And if you look at it over here, this very next to this, you have this sweet treat card. Now, this can be taken literally, obviously. So literally, it can mean, sometimes when people get depressed, we say that people tend to eat more, and people tend to, eat more sweet food, more like, they will splurge on ice cream or chocolates or, any kind of sweet dessert, like, cakes or pastries or whatever, you name it, right? Because it is said that somehow, and I think there's some certain science behind that somehow that sugar, it somehow acts to temporarily subdue your pain, temporarily suppress your pain. So this may be indicating that. At the same time, I think, if you look more deeper, if you think more deeper about this card, I think what it means is, it's talking about you, it's talking about your soul, your nature, that, you are sweet, you are loving, you are caring, right? And this, if you look at these three cards, this one, the sweet treat, and this one talks about grounding my energy, right? Grounding my energy. So it's like protecting your energy. This triangle inside, this is you. And all around this triangle, there's what seems like a cage. I don't know if you can see it properly, right? There seems like a cage. It's like there's a need for you to protect yourself. Grounding my energy. And again, it's the same picture. It is like it is safe to be in my body, right? So it's like a protection. You need to protect yourself. And the very next to that, you have the Vesta. Vesta, or the hearth. The Vesta refers to, one of the most brightest asteroid between Jupiter and Mars. And what this picture signifies, it's like you are that fire. There's a fire inside you, right? See how these cards come together. If you look at this card, it talks about this is you, the triangle. It's like it's protected, or it's caged. Similarly, here you have this fire, which is like within this encasing. Similarly, the gem, you are the gem, you are covered. All of these are showing that, you are that fire, you are that gem, you are that bright, you are that winged bird who's being suppressed, whose energy, whose fire is not being able to shine through all this turbulence. Right? So first of all, you need to protect yourself. Right? You need to protect yourself for yourself. You need to preserve your energy. Right? You need to protect that fire inside you. So one of the messages, yes, you need to think about others. You need to, especially for someone like you need to obviously think about others. You need to obviously try to help others. But at the same time, don't take it to an extent where you are sacrificing yourself, where you are sacrificing your energy, where you are dimming your brilliance, where you're dimming that fire. Don't take it to that extent, right? Preserve yourself, encase yourself, protect yourself. As I said, you need to ground your energy. So do for others, serve others, but within certain limitations. Don't go beyond a particular boundary, because then you'll be exhausting yourself. And especially the angel, this is the message from the angels to you. So in a way, your blessings are, is that the fact that the angels are in direct communication with you. They are trying to tell you, they are trying to, they understand your situation, right? They understand what they have put you into. And but again, given your higher vibration, given your highly spiritual nature, you have to, in a way, to some extent deal with this, because as I said, it's like a magnet. You are a magnet, right? And if you put a magnet in the middle, and if there are iron filings all around, they will be immediately pulled towards that magnet, right? So it is you as the Hierophant. It is your, maybe one of the life's purpose in this world, to induce your higher vibration to others, to those around you, to make them see what you are seeing, make them feel what you are feeling to an extent. But that process is not, it's a gradual process. It's a very painfully slow process, right? And so as you are doing that, as you are fulfilling your life's mission, obviously you have to deal with all their ignorance. You have to deal with all their, narrow-mindedness, their lack of perception, their lack of vision, right? You have to deal with their selfishness. And that's where all this trouble comes in. So again, since this is one of your probably life's mission, so you have to be very careful as to how much you give yourself to others, right? Keep something for yourself. Keep that, because you need to preserve that fire, because the world needs that fire. The world needs your brilliance, right? So don't let these weeds fully cover your brilliance. Don't let, preserve some fire for yourself. Preserve your energy, and you are being protected. You are a sweet soul. That's what this sweet means. You are a sweet soul. And I also feel like, the angels are telling you, they understand, that, you are a sweet soul. And again, this is one of your blessing in a way, right? Because they are acknowledging, their acknowledgement that, they understand who you are. They empathize with you. They feel for you. And in a way, they are protecting you, right? Again, so first of all, you need to protect yourself. And secondly, they are also saying, they also understand your situation, and they are also protecting you. Right? They are always around you. They are protecting you. Because again, I think, if you look at these tarot cards over here, it's clearly, it's like too much conflict. You are like, when you may be seeing this reading, there's a lot of fatigue in you. You may have got exhausted, fighting with your surroundings, fighting with all this turbulence, all this darkness, all this nastiness, around you, right? And so they understand that. They understand that. But again, but you are the Hierophant. You are a guide. You are a bright shining light. You are a gem. You have a lot to offer, in terms of your knowledge, in terms of your outlook, in terms of your higher vibration, in terms of your qualities, right? In terms of what you will do later on in your life. And again, the number 11. So there's some very strong positive points in this. If you look at, out of all this darkness, what's coming out, there's some very, very strong, very positive, very messages that are coming out, right? This protection of the angels, the fact that, you are a guide, right? You are a path bearer for others. You are like a lighthouse. You are that, beacon of light for others, right? You are the sacred soul. You have that sacred fire inside you burning, right? So I touch upon this, that it may be one of your destiny, if not the main purpose of your life, is to share that fire with others who are fallen souls. And again, if you remember, it's always the case that people of higher vibration. If you take the story of Jesus, if you take the story of Swami Vivekananda, if you are familiar with Swami Vivekananda, if you take all of these higher souls, spiritual beings, if you look at their life, they had to go through a lot of troubles in their life. They were never happy. I mean, I shouldn't say they were never happy, but they were happy. But at the same time, they had to take on a lot of troubles. That's because, again, they're very extremely high vibration, right? And when you put someone like them in the middle of all others, these souls, they tend to take on the negative energies of all the other people, right? And when you're taking on when you're sucking in all these negative energies, that's never going to be ideal for you. That's going to have an impact on your health. That's going to have an impact on your well-being. That's going to have an impact on your mental well-being. But at the same time, the very fact that you are doing that shows what kind of spirit you are. You are a leader. You are a highly enlightened being. You are a very high vibration. You are protected by the angels. You have a lot to give, lot of brilliance, lot of inner fire, lot of inner qualities, potential. You are a sweet spiritual soul, right? And then you have this card over here. Walk through your feelings, right? Again, it's come out reversed. So that's what's needed right now. You need to walk through your feelings. Don't let them overpower you. I know it's easier said than done, but then that's what you have to do. You have to deal with those, because again, what should give you comfort is that the angels are beside you. They acknowledge you. They know who you are. You are in a way fulfilling their purpose, right? Because in this world, especially the current world, given that all that we have going through right now, it needs people like you who are highly empathetic, who are high vibrational, who are very spiritual, who are born leaders, who are born to show others, the correct path, to be the torchbearer, to be the lighthouse, the beacon of light. Right? And that's why if you need to be stable, you need to walk through your energy. You need to preserve that fire. You need to be grounded yourself. You need to walk through your feelings and not let your feelings overpower you. I think that's what's happening at the moment, because your feelings are overpowering you, right? Because unless you can spread your wings, unless you can let that shine, or let that brilliance shine through all these weeds, then these weeds, they will be lost, right? And these weeds are all those people, all the circumstances around you, right? They will be lost. So you are the one who has to show them the path. So I know it's a very difficult day. So you have to find that inner joy, and it's very difficult. And again, sometimes it's easier said than done, because when situation turns out to be that gloomy, that difficult, full of conflict, and again the sheer number of number fives, it's not easy. But then again, if you look at these lives of all these great masters, the great beings of all religions, their life was not easy. But we still remember them, right? We still remember them with love, because their lives inspire us. So your life is like that, right? People may not understand what you are doing, they may not understand you right now, but I think later on they will understand. And some of them, they probably understand you, or some of them, they probably are already beginning to understand you. But again, it's given that there's a huge gap between your vibration and their vibration. So you have to be patient with them, because again, your worldview is fundamentally different from their worldview. So I think the main blessing is, the protection of the angels. The angels are telling you that they are there to protect you. They are there to, they understand you. You being in touch with the spiritual realm, getting downloads, you being a highly spiritual being, right? And this message from them, I think this is the biggest blessing, that telling you who you are, your sense of, that true sense of who you are, right? Letting you know that who you are and why you have come to this world, what higher purpose you are serving, and you are walking for them. I think that's what's going to give you, that is in a way a big blessing for you, right? Because when you know that whatever you are suffering through, whatever you are going through, that is not for nothing, and that serves some higher purpose, and in a way you're acting as their agent. You're acting like an archangel, right? See over here, that's why so many wings. You're like an archangel, right? So you're a very spiritual, very connected, very psychic, intuitive, high vibrational archangel, right? Who has come over here to really lift the spirit of the others. And again, it's a difficult journey, but you need to be understanding, you need to ground yourself. You need to preserve that fire within you. So very beautiful, beautiful group and very beautiful people. You guys, and the world needs people like you. I sincerely hope that this is going to shed some light. It's going to really, give you some self-belief as to who you are. And that's what's going to help you, pull yourself out from this rut. Right? Because your preservation is not only needed for you, but for the people around you. Again, so remember this, Hierophant, gem, number 11, right? You are a sweet treat. You are the Vesta, the bright asteroid, the fire, the bright fire, the eternal fire, the fire of wisdom, the fire of knowledge. You are protected. You are an archangel. You need to spread your wings. Beautiful, beautiful group. I hope this resonates with you, group number 1, and hope it provides some comfort and it provides some direction for you. And you can see what your masters and God is trying to say through this reading. Beautiful reading. Lots of love, group number 1. Bye. Hey, group number 2, for those of you who chose this particular angel message or oracle card, this will be your reading. It says, first of all, I'm going to go through this angel message card, or the divine blessings card, or the oracle card. It has a number 22 as the angel number or the master number, right? And it says divine masculine. So, and it says the frequency of divine masculine supports our strong, focused, and active side, allowing it to express itself while helping us to bring our dreams and ideas into form with kindness and wisdom. So divine masculine, I'm going to read this message again. The frequency of divine masculine supports our strong, focused, and active side, allowing it to express itself while helping us to bring our dreams and ideas into form with kindness and wisdom. So you are, and the master number 22. You are a builder. You are a creator of some sorts, right? This particular group. So 22 is all about, the divine builder or the divine creator. It's like master number 22 is known as the master builder. It relates to that. People with this number, they have a lot of confidence, a lot of creativity, and they can, bring big ideas into fruition. They can be, bringing big ideas to life in the sense of productivity. They can make their dreams a reality by harnessing their unlimited potential. Right. So these individuals, they can be very hardworking, they can be very practical, and they have that confidence to bring their intentions to fruition. Because if you look at it, 22 is basically 4, right? And 4 is, again, it talks about that foundation, building that foundation, creating that structure out of nothing. So that's what you are, right? And interestingly, in terms of divine blessing, if you see, your reading starts with this, with this card over here, the 6 of Stars, or success. And it has this, this angelic being, with the wings fully spread out. It's very interesting because, for that your reading is following the reading of group number 1, and in the group number 1, it was all about, their wings, because of the certain circumstances around them. Their wings, being tied down, they not being able to spread their wings. And in your case, obviously it starts with a very positive message, the divine blessing, you can say, that you are assured for success, and you are meant to spread your wings fully, right? That's what you are meant to do. So if you are, again, you are a divine masculine. You are someone who in this lifetime is meant to balance the spiritual as well as the material side, right? You are supposed to, that's one of your blessings, right? So You are supposed to build. See, because if you look at it, feminine and masculine side are two different sides. Right? The masculine side is more active, more mechanical, a side, more passion, more fire, more energy, more creativity, more drive. Whereas feminine side gives you the more softer, the subtler side of things, makes you more sensitive, makes you more passionate, makes you more appreciating nature, more loving, right? So more subtler, more finer side of life. And very interestingly, it says divine masculine, right? So you are not just masculine, you are divine masculine, right? So that means people of, your blessings are, it's like, and on top of that, you have this mother, God, right? So these two are kind of tied, right? Because a mother also creates, right? A mother creates a new life inside her womb. A mother nurtures a new life inside her womb. Similarly, you are also meant to build or create or nurture something, right? But it's not about just creation. It's not about just building, right? Because then it would be just masculine, right? But it's saying it's a divine masculine. So it's just like the mother creates with love, the mother nurtures with love. Similarly, since your role or your blessing is that you have the divine masculine properties, you are meant to balance. You're not only meant to create and be productive, but that with your intuitive side fully open, right? So in a way, you are spiritual, but in a way, you can also manifest that spirituality in terms of being more productive. And very interestingly, I may be digressing a little bit over here, but generally a lot of people, they think that spirituality is about being idle, is about being lethargy, is about just, sitting in one corner of the house and meditating and doing nothing else. That's why a lot of people, they look down upon spirituality. They see that, spirituality is a nonsense, and people who are lazy, people who have no purpose in life, they go to spirituality, right? To escape from the worldly rigors. But truly spiritual people tend to be actually more active because, first of all, when they are truly connected, to the spiritual world, when they, feel that inner peace, that's when they can become more productive. That's when they can harness their energy to the truest extent. And that's when they can fully utilize their energy for some meaningful pursuits, right? And secondly, they also feel that drive, because when you are truly spiritual, you are not only trying to fulfill your own narrow goals or your own narrow ambitions, but you're also trying to fulfill your dreams for a bigger purpose beyond yourself, right? Maybe like, for example, creating something that's going to not only bring you success, but at the same time, it's going to also do some good to the entire world, all right? Or definitely some good to certain sections of people. Like, so something beyond you, not just for you. Obviously, by doing that, you are going to get some satisfaction. Obviously, by doing that, you are going to taste your own personal success. But at the same time, by doing that, you are going to also serve a larger good, right? So, for example, in India, we have this, one of the industrialists. I don't want to name him, but some of you who are from India, you'll probably be familiar with who I'm talking about. He's a very famous industrialist. He comes from a house of entrepreneurs. One of his forefather was one of the India's earliest entrepreneur, and this person, obviously, he's very successful. Obviously, he's a very successful entrepreneur, industrialist, and he still continues to be so. And he's really a role model. But beyond what he's creating, beyond his personal success, whatever he does, it also serves a larger national interest. He keeps India's interest at the forefront, right? He or his house of his group of industries, they keep always India's interest at the forefront too. So they are not just out to make money. Obviously, that's one of the goal. Obviously, as as an industrial leader, you have to make sure that your industry thrives. Uh, but at the same time, they have this larger national interest in their mind, right? So he will be typical. This person, I'm talking about, he will be typical of this particular group. So you are also something like that, right? Your blessing is, you are being. It is being pointed out that you are like that mother, that loving mother. You are like the divine masculine. Your purpose in this life, sorry, is to create, is to be productive, is to harness your intuition. See, it's very interesting. You have these two cards side by side, right? The intuition as well as anchoring the light. Right? Both of this mean same thing. It's like harnessing your intuition, harnessing your divine power, right? And harnessing it for something meaningful, harnessing it for something productive, harnessing it for something that's going to not only, again, bring you success, it's not only going to let you help spread your wings, but at the same time harnessing it and being more productive in such a way that it does this world also some good. Right? So, and again, here it's being said, last quarter moon in Pisces, talk less, feel more. Again, you are being asked to be more intuitive. Right? So definitely your blessing is success, right? And your blessing is the fact that what you are, the tarot or the divine being showing through this tarot that who you are, what is your larger purpose in life, right? And who you are meant to become, what you are meant to achieve, right? But that blessing also comes with certain caveats, right? How you can reap that blessing to the fullest, right? Because to be able to really, fully manifest that number 22, the potential of that master number 22, right? To bring out really that, that divine masculinity that is hidden inside of you, that motherly nature that's hidden inside you, to be very, really fully productive, to be very fully creative. I feel like there's a need to harness your intuition, because unless you're intuitive and unless you are listening to what your inner spirit, what's the one who's sitting inside you, how he is guiding you, how that divine being is guiding you, and what they're telling you in terms of what you are meant to become and what you are meant to achieve, you cannot really fully manifest this divine masculinity. And to be able to fully be intuitive, these top few cards over here, they're very interesting. See, you have the Two of Hearts or the Two of Cups, talks about union, coming out reversed. Then you have the Three of Pentacles, you have the Six of Pentacles, you have the Page of Pentacles, three Pentacles card all coming out reversed. So a couple of things. One, I think some of you, I get the vibe that some of you, especially when I look at this one, talk less and feel more. I think some of you, you may be very outgoing right now. You may be very extroverted. You may love mixing with people. You may love, you may be very flamboyant. You may love attending parties or showing off, right? But remember, the more extroverted you are, the more you are going away from that intuition. To be fully intuitive, to really harness your intuitive self to the fullest extent, you need to draw your mind from being too extroverted to pull your mind inward, right? So be more introvert. So that's what one of the messages coming out from these four tarot cards being reversed. One is, try to be more introvert, right? Don't waste away your time or your energy or your potential by indulging in too much of all this nonsense or senseless gatherings, right? Where you are, you're mixing with too many people, you are indulging in too many parties, but you are not really taking out the time to be with yourself, right? Spend more quality time with yourself. Listen to what your heart is telling you to do, how your heart is trying to guide you, how the universe is trying to guide you towards your larger life purpose, right? Which is again, to be more creative, to be more productive. I think definitely some of you also could be more creative, like, because I see a number of 3s and 6s and 9s over here. Right? So, to be more creative, to be more productive. And also, so that was the first thing, right? To be more introvert. Pull yourself away from too many gatherings, too many unnecessary, events or situations where you may be surrounded by so-called friends and flatterers who may be sapping your energy, who may be taking advantage of your time and your resources, and pulling you away from something more meaningful that you can do with your time. That's one thing. Second thing is, I also feel some of you you could have gone through certain failures or certain frustrations in matters of love and affairs and relationships, because I also see the 7th house of relationship over here, right? So some of you could be fighting with that a little bit. So you need to come out of that, right? You need to, if you have gone through certain disappointments in matters of love, in matters of relationships, I think you need to leave that behind and really focus on your divine goal, right? Because, and then thirdly, see, these are all pentacle cards, right? And they've all come out reversed. It also talks about that balancing yourself, right? Anchoring. See that again, this matches with whatever is saying over here, anchoring. So the strong message of bringing in harmony, rooting yourself, grounding yourself, balancing yourself, right? And you cannot do that if you are being too extrovert. You cannot do that, if you are, engaging in too many affairs and relationships and suffering from the disappointments and wasting your time away in parties or in other non-productive work, right? What's interesting over here with this page of a pentacle card, right? This page of pentacle card, if you look, he has this map in front of him, right? And he knows, by looking at this map, this is his destiny. He knows if he can reach this destiny, that's where his goal awaits, right? Now, when this card come out reversed, it's like you have lost that map to your end goal. So you are being advised, not to lose track of your end goal, not to lose track of your destiny, or your destination, right? So not to lose track of that map. What you have come out to do over here, what is your blessing? The way I interpret it, this is your blessing, or that is meant for you, that is coming your way, that is waiting for you, is also in a way it's your divine purpose. And how you can fully manifest that divine purpose is that by really being more receptive to that, really being more receptive to your intuition, to what your heart is saying. What is your heart's calling? What you want to do, right? And not to spend too much time, wasting, in bothering about all this, whatever it is that drives you, that distracts you, that causes distraction, that saps your energy, that saps, that keeps you away from your main goal, right? Also, you may need to be careful about the kinds of company you keep. Select good friends, not friends who may be taking advantage of you, not friends who may be leading you to distractions, right? Also choose affairs properly, right? Because I also sense that a proper relationship or a proper good friends can also help you, because if you select a good company who understands your potential and who can help you reach your potential or manifest your potential to the fullest, then they can be very helpful to your journey. Right? So definitely, you are, it is being pointed out to you that, what is your blessing and what blessing is coming, is that you are a divine creator, you are a, person of extreme potential, someone who's very intuitive, someone, who can balance between spirituality and materialism, and who can manifest things, right? Who can turn things into reality, who can shape things around, right? But to be able to do that, to taste that success and to spread your wings to the fullest, right? That is being assured of, right? That is one of the blessings that's coming up. The key blessing is that you need to ground yourself. You need to be more grounded. You need to pull yourself away from the pull of materialism, right? Because again, for you, it's all about balancing the spiritual and material side. So if you are being too pulled towards material side, then you're ignoring the spiritual side, right? And that's not going to be too helpful for you. So you have to maintain that balance. Obviously, to be able to create or to be able to be productive or in this world, obviously you have to have the material side, right? You have to work with people, you have to work with a team, all right? But again, not too much, right? Whatever is needed, to get the job done, right? Maintain that level of a materialistic attitude, maintain that level of interaction with people. But at the end of the day, take some time out for yourself. Spend some quiet time with yourself, right? Maybe meditation a little bit is going to help. Right? That way, you can harness your intuition to the fullest. That's why, you can anchor that light, that inner creative light. You can anchor that light to the fullest. And it says, the light is always within me, that divine light, that guiding light that is always within me. Now, for you to be receptive to that light, for you to really perceive that light, you need to balance your material and spiritual side. And the more balance you get between the material and the spiritual side, more productive you will be, right? Because that is your ultimate, one of your end goal. That is one of your life's purpose. So more focused, more active. You are being encouraged to be more focused and more active, right? Allowing it to express itself while helping us to bring our dreams and ideas into form with kindness and wisdom. Again, balancing the spirituality and materialism, right? So be inwardly focused, be intuitive, be introverted. At the same time, when you're out in the world, learn to interact with people, do your interaction, learn to choose proper company of friends, right? Shy away from too much of unnecessary distractions, too much of unnecessary party or flattery, right? Choose your relationships properly, because choose your friend circle properly. They may harness you. They may actually, they may actually help you in your journey if you, choose your friend and if your relationship properly. So I think that's all I had. Group number 2. Again, it's full of energy. Lot of, and I think again, what I didn't cover was, this 8 of Swords coming out reversed, right? It's again the same thing. It's like, if you look at this card, she's feeling herself, entrapped, and she has this, piece of cloth tied over her eyes. It's like, so she's not seeing things, right? This is coming out reversed. So this is another blessing in a way, right? So, you are going to discover your true purpose. So for the moment, you may be, again, you may have that cloth wrapped around your eyes where you are not seeing, the end goal, where you may be feeling a little lost, where you may feel like, you have lost the map, right? And again, that could have been brought about by certain disappointment in relationship, or maybe your outgoing nature. But then I think that's another blessing. I think you are going to come to that phase where you're going to come out of that feeling of entrapment. You're going to find that map. You're going to find that inner compass, that inner guiding voice. And again, as long as you also follow certain things that I just laid out before, your reading starts with the success. And you are number 22, divine masculine. You are that mother nature, right? So that's something that no one can take away from you. I think that's one of the main blessings that's, the message that's coming out from this particular reading. So hopefully this resonates with you, group number 2. If you like this reading, do let me know and comment and like and subscribe to my channel. For now, take care. Bye. Hey, group number 3, for those of you who chose this beautiful oracle card, it says magic. This will be your reading. So let me first go through this particular card, right? It's very interesting. It's a very powerful message for you, group number 3. And it's number 31. And it says, the frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment, to move towards possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation. I'm going to read this message for you again, group number 3. It's also for my benefit, because I want to really get to the full depth of what it is trying to convey for you. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment, to move toward possibilities and expressions that are as grand, as profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation. Wow. What's interesting about your group is that this card that you have chosen, if you look at it right next on top of this, you have this card, the archetype card. It says Anima Mundi. Right. And if you look at the picture of this Anima Mundi, it kind of resonates with this picture over here. This one, I believe it shows a circle of life. It shows that how life manifests or how creation manifests from smallest from the very minute to the eternal, from the microcosm to macrocosm. And the Anima Mundi kind of conveys a similar picture. And the Anima Mundi, it's for those of you who are familiar with the Vedic philosophy, it talks about prana. It talks about the chi. It talks about the eternal life principle. That's why if you see at the very center over here, I don't know if you can see it properly. At the very center over here is a divine mother sitting over here. Because the divine mother symbolizes the eternal feminine, the eternal principle, right? The eternal creative principle, the life force. So she's sitting in the middle, and all around her, it's like creation manifesting in different forms. You see all the zodiacal sign, you see all the planets, you see all the elements, you see all different aspects of creation circling around her, right? So she's the source. She's that life-giving principle, that prana, that the very the source of sustenance that keeps you going, that keeps every creature in this creation, living or non-living, that keeps it going, right? That's what this is, the fundamental life-giving energy, the Divine Mother. Very powerful. So this one plus the magic. Now, I don't know if you heard my introduction, group number 3, and I said, because the topic of this reading is what blessing is coming your way. Now, when we hear this, we get that impression that as if, something miraculous is going to happen overnight. And we don't have to do anything. It's going to like happen automatically. Something is going to be taken care of automatically on our behalf. And trust me, that indeed happens for a lot of, and that is actually happening all around us. That miracle is happening all around us. But we don't sense that. We are not receptive enough to sense that. But at the same time, there's a saying, there's a saying, that grace, what we call as grace, what we call as, again, that coming to this life-giving principle, is that the Divine Mother, the blessing of Divine Mother, it's all around us. It's flowing right over us. It's flowing right beside us. It's flowing right through us, right? The grace is flowing right through us. The grace is all the time everywhere, right? But are we being able to really take advantage of that grace? Are we being able to really take advantage of that blessing of Divine Mother, right? Or are we misusing it? Or are we ignoring it? Or are we, choosing to overlook it just because, our current perspective, just because our current ego, our own thought process, is telling us otherwise, right? So I want you to keep that in mind, because the topic of this particular reading is what blessing is coming your way. Now, yes, a blessing is coming, right? But you need to also, and I'm going to talk about that, but you need to also do some work to take full advantage of that blessing, right? Because for your particular group, as you saw from these two very powerful cards at the very beginning, the Magic card and the Anima Mundi, right? The reason why I started with these two cards, is to kind of give you a sense that what the universe is telling you, what Divine Mother is telling you, what the tarot is telling you, is that you have enormous potential inside of you, right? You have the ability to move towards possibilities, endless possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation, right? So that self-belief, right? Because you are that part of that eternal principle. You are that very life force. That life force is hiding inside you. Because what I see over here, group number 3, is that yes, you have a lot of potential inside you, right? And very interestingly, you have a lot of cards over here that talks about the earth, the pentacles. You have this, the Ace of Pentacles over here. You have the King of Pentacles over here, the King of Trees or the King of Pentacles. You have this card over here, the Virgo, right? Again, Virgo is one of the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, right? Again, it talks about that earthly qualities. And it also paints a very interesting picture. It shows this, a bunch of this hay. It talks about that harvest, the harvest that you can reap from your, based on your capabilities, based on your potential, by correctly using your potential. It shows you, what kind of harvest you can reap, what kind of harvest, that is waiting to be reaped, if you can channelize your potential properly. Now, why I say that is because you have these 3 cards at the very top. In fact, these 4 cards, they have all come out reversed, right? So you have the 9 of Stars or the 9 of Wands in traditional tarot, right? 9 of Wands coming out reversed. You have the King of Pentacles, again, King of Trees in this particular deck, which is actually King of Pentacles coming out reversed. You have the Ace of Stars, again, Ace of Wands coming out reversed. And then you have the High Priestess coming out reversed. Right? So I believe, it looks like for this particular group, couple of things may be proving to be a little bit of an obstacle in manifesting that full potential, in manifesting your magical powers, in manifesting that life force that is hidden inside of you, right? I think one is, it talks about perseverance over here, right? It talks about perseverance over here. It talks about architect, right? It talks about creation, right? And it talks about insight. So somehow I feel that there's a lack of hard work or perseverance, or maybe you are putting in that hard work, maybe you're putting in that that effort, but it's not properly channelized. See, that's why you have that architect card coming out reversed, right? So the king of trees or king of pentacles coming out reversed, because king of pentacles is someone who's very stable, who's very assured of himself, of his actions, right? Who's very knowledgeable, very wise, and who knows what he's doing. So he has a grand plan, right? And he's sure of his plan, right? And so that somehow either you're not putting in enough effort to materialize your dreams or your aspirations, or even if you're putting it's not properly channelized. So there's a lack of proper planning, there's a lack of proper vision, there's a lack of proper, that, for example, if you consider an architect always first thing the architect comes up or tries to come up, it is some kind of a blueprint, right? And the architect is fundamentally known for that. Architect plans, architect, designs. So that design or that planning may be lacking, and that's why you also have the High Priestess card coming out reversed, right? That lack of insight, that lack of, being very wise about what you want to do, what you want to achieve in life, and how you want to go about that, right? I think that's what's lacking. And very interestingly, next to these four tarots over here, the next you have the King of Sword, right? And the Ace of Pentacles. If you look at the King of Sword, it kind of, it's pointing with his sword, towards the open book. Now somehow I get the vibe that, as if this king is telling you to follow the book, right? Or go by the book, or follow certain principles, right? Follow certain rules, right? So I don't know. So it looks like some of you also could be, may not be going by the books. Now, what going by the books mean? Going by the books means, going by certain well laid out principles. Again, that planning, that blueprint I was talking about, right? The book and the blueprint kind of resonates, right? So again, going by that blueprint, going by that planning, follow certain rules and regulations. See what suits you. Maybe for some of you, who are students or who are still in academics, right? Do your study meticulously. Maybe, some of you, who are students who may be viewing this particular reading, you are just, you are wasting your energy right now, or you may need to focus more into your studies, right? Maybe, you are not putting in that amount of effort that is needed to make sure that you have a solid foundation, to make sure that magic happens in your future. Because remember, students, this is the time for you to lay that foundation. This is the time for you to really prepare the field, right? Prepare the field. If you don't prepare your field right now, then later on, that field won't give you the proper harvest, right? So if you look at a farmer puts in a lot of effort, right? A farmer tills the field. A farmer, when he has planted the saplings, they take care of it day after day. They put in the right kind of fertilizers. They put in all the effort. They put in, they make sure that there is no weeds or there is no infestation of bugs or other pests, right? So a farmer has to put in a lot of effort, and then nature does its magic. So the effort has to come from both the sides. It should be your effort, your 100%, and then the nature or whatever that miracle I was talking about. Again, that grace, that blessing will do its trick, right? But if you are sitting idle and if you are not doing your bit, then no matter how much blessing flows by, no matter how much grace is flowing by, you won't be able to receive that, right? It's like for those of you who are into science, you talk about that receiver and transmitter, right? So the transmitter sends a signal and the receiver has to receive it. Now, if the receiver is somehow the receiver is not working or the receiver is malfunctioning, so no matter how much the transmitter, it's transmitting the signal, the receiver won't be able to receive that signal, right? Because the receiver is not functioning properly. So that's what here is being conveyed. So yes, and see, you have this attend to the details. Last quarter, moon in Virgo, again Virgo. You have so many earth elements coming up, right? Again Virgo over here, you have the Virgo over here. Last quarter, moon in Virgo, attend to the details. And that earth principle, that pentacle, it talks about stability. It's talk about grounding. It's talk about being rooted, right? So, if you are getting distracted, if you are in too much of a dilemma, if you are not sure about what you need to do, how you need to go about doing things, if you are not putting in too much of effort, this is the message for you that yes, you have. I think your biggest blessing is this magical power. You have tremendous potential, right? You have a lot to do. You are that Ace of Pentacles, right? Waiting to manifest. Right? I feel like there's a lot of your future promises, a lot of prosperity. Your future promises, holds a lot of potential for you. And that's the blessing that's coming up. Your future holds. There's this. You are a very powerful being. But as I said before, even powerful being can appear very weak, can think of themselves as very meek creatures. There's a story, I forget whether it's Aesop's fables or from some other folklore, where it talks about, I know some of you may have heard about that story, where it talks about a lion cub whose mother, the lioness, had died while giving birth to the lion cub. And so a shepherd saw this lion cub and he brought it home. And then the lion cub started growing up, with the shepherd, and with a bunch of sheep that the shepherd had. And so this lion cub, being in the company of the sheep from the very childhood, started thinking of himself also as a sheep, and he forgot about his own true nature, and he thought that he was also a sheep, right? So he would go out with the sheep, he would play with the sheep, he would eat grass like them. He had no sense of who he was. Now one day what happened, this bunch of sheep, they had gone out, they were like roaming, they were out grazing in the pasture. And suddenly another lioness came, and she was waiting to attack this flock of sheep, when she saw, strangely, there was a grown-up lion who was roaming within this flock of sheep, and she was very surprised. She was thinking, what the hell is going on, right? So she started running after that lion. She wanted to catch that lion and to find out what is wrong with that lion, right? And so when this flock of sheep saw the lioness after them, obviously they ran for their life. But this time around, she was not interested in them. She was interested in that particular lion cub. So when she got hold of him, he was scared, right? He was thinking that this lioness is out to attack him. Because remember, he had no sense that he was a lion, right? So he was thinking of himself as a sheep. And so somehow when she managed to, grab hold of him, he was screaming and he was trying to break free and all that stuff. Now she dragged him along and she nailed him on the ground and she said, "What's wrong with you? What are you doing with a bunch of sheep?" And he was surprised. He said, "What are you saying? I am a sheep. I'm supposed to be in the company of sheep." She said, "Are you crazy? Don't you know who you are?" And obviously this lion had no idea, right? So he said, "What are you talking about? You must be crazy." Then she dragged him along and she took him to the bank of a river, right? And there she told him, look at yourself in your reflection in the river. Look at yourself and see what you see. And this lion looked at the river and at his reflection in the water, and then he saw who he was, right? And then she told her, then she made a kill. And then she told him to taste the blood. once he tasted that blood and once he saw himself, that's when he realized who he really was, and that his nature, his inherent nature started coming out. Right? So that's the story with you. I think that's the story with all of us. We are lions by nature, but because of different circumstances, because of our ignorance, because of our our nature to procrastinate, because of different distractions, we often misuse our potential. We often misuse our power, right? And we also misuse that blessing that may be coming right over us at this very moment, right? So group number 3, I think that's a very strong message. So if you look at it, grounding, few things. Yes, you are being promised. You are being told. That you are a very powerful being. You are a magician. There is nothing that you cannot do. That eternal life, you are the very representation of the eternal life force, right? The divine mother, right? But there's certain things, and there's a lot of potential for prosperity, a lot of potential for success, and there's a lot of potential for future growth. But for that, and again, the golden harvest is waiting to happen. But for that, a death must occur. What is that death? Remember, death talks about transformation. Death is not death. Death is for another possibility to replace the older one, right? Death is for new life to make its way, right? So this death means of transformation, changing your old habits, right? Coming out of that procrastinating, that tendency to procrastinate, or getting better, more clarity, planning your future properly, not to waste your time idling away, like in idle gossip, or maybe too much of social media, or maybe into going hanging around with your friends, or neglecting what you are supposed to do, what you are supposed to be doing at this very moment, right? That's the thing that you need to curb. Hearing your inner guidance, right? What is your that divine mother sitting inside you? What is that life force sitting inside you is trying to tell you, right? My intuition flows whenever I am still. Very next to this, you have the ground yourself. So, a lot of those cards, you have, as I said, you have 2 Vargos over here. You have the King of Pentacles reversed over here. You have the Ace of Pentacles over here. You have again these 2 cards that talk specifically about being still, being grounded, right? So it's all, plus you have the Death card. So all of this are talking about a new beginning is waiting to happen. A new beginning is waiting for you. You have the 2 Ace cards, the Ace of Inspiration and the Ace of Pentacles. Also, what's interesting is you have 2 King cards, King of Pentacles and King of Swords, right? So the very fact that 2 Kings have come out, 2 Aces have come out, you have this Anima Mundi card over here, you have the Magic card over here. It just shows what kind of potential you hold. I think that is your biggest blessing. That's what the universe is telling you, that this is your blessing. You are a very powerful soul. You are a soul, you are a magician. You can do tremendous things in this life. You are a king. You have the capability to become a king. But for that, certain things need to happen. You need to cultivate your land. You need to transform yourself. You need to put in a lot of effort, more effort. And you're capable of that. Remember, the universe will never ask you to do something that doesn't suit you. Because whether you call it universe, or whether you call it the divinity, whether you call it higher powers, whatever suits you. Remember, that power is working for the benefit of all, right? It has no bias. It is impartial. Right? The Divine Mother, to her, all of us are her sons. All of us are her children, her sons and daughters, right? So she's impartial. She loves all of us. So don't for a moment think that anyone is being, the nature of the universe is being partial to you, or is asking you to do something that you are not capable of. No, it is your mind. Once you control your mind, you can do anything that you can set your mind on. Right? That's why these 2 Kings has come out. So follow the books, right? For some of you, literally follow the books. So do your studies, do your homework, right? Lay out the blueprint, put in hard work. This is the time whenever you are seeing this reading, this is the time for you to put in that hard work. Be more grounded, avoid parties, too much of distraction, social media, interaction with friends, needless gossip, right? Maybe rather spend the time in meditation. Listen to what your heart says, listen to your intuition, your inner guidance. Right? Pay attention to the details. Be very meticulous, be very methodical. Right? And then you are going to reap the fullest benefit of what your potential holds for you in the future, by group number 3. Right? I hope this kind of resonates with you. It's a very powerful reading. And again, remember what I said. This is very vital, right? I have said a couple of very important things. Blessing is there. Blessing is all the time there. And there's a special blessing over here that's coming you. They are making you the promise that, who you are, what you are capable of. But you have to be that ideal receiver. You have to prepare yourself. You have to be like that pot that can hold the water. If the pot has too many holes all around, then no matter how much water you pour in the pot, the water is going to drain away. So you have to become like that, that ideal pot. Seal all those leaks, right? Prepare yourself. So I think that's all I have for group number 3. Very, very powerful reading. All the best for you guys. And I hope, you take heed to what I have said and act upon that. With that, I think I'm going to end this reading right here. All the best. Bye. Hey, group 4. For those of you who have chosen this this particular oracle card, this will be your reading. We'll see what blessing or possible closure is coming your way and how you can, better be prepared for that. What you need to do. And again, I don't know if you have heard my intro. It was a little bit of a lengthier intro this time, but in the intro, I think I was trying to make this point clear that when we say about blessings, oftentimes, those blessings, they come and go, but we cannot really take the full, we cannot really, reap the fullest benefit of that blessing simply because, we haven't prepared ourselves, we haven't, prepared ourselves to be able to fully receive the fullest benefit of that blessing, right? And I had given some examples about, some pots and, some anecdotal examples. I don't want to repeat those for this particular group, but if you want, you can go back to my intro and you see what I was trying to explain if you haven't done that already. But the whole point is, that there are I'm going to talk about certain blessings, certain closures that may come your way. But then I'm going to also try to point out what you need to do, something or some set of things to be able to, really reap the fullest benefit of that particular blessing, right? So let's jump into it. I think what we have chosen is a beautiful card. It talks about integration. And what you see over here, let me actually first go through the message. Right? It talks about integration and it says, the frequency of integration supports our embrace of every aspect of ourselves, allowing what we perceive as positive and what we perceive as negative to harmonize in a balanced symphony of life. Beautiful reading. I'm going to just go through it one more time. The frequency of integration supports our embrace of every aspect of ourselves, allowing what we perceive as positive and what we perceive as negative to harmonize in a balanced symphony of life. So basically the message is in integration. Oftentimes, life is not all positive. Life is not all light and fun. Unfortunately, though we want life to be all, full of fun and joy and full of all positivity, but the very nature of life, and that's what it's shown over here, the life as we know, the creation as we know, the manifested creation is possible because of duality, right? So if you have positive, you're going to have negative. If you have good, you're going to have bad. If you have light, you're going to have darkness. Without that duality, creation cannot exist, right? And that's what it's shown over here. What is what is shown over here is called a Sri Yantra. Those of you who are familiar with Hinduism or the Vedic philosophy, it's derived from that. I think even the Buddhists, they use this. The Sri Yantra or Yantra is a Sanskrit term, and it basically refers to certain archetypes, certain sacred geometries, certain archetypal patterns that symbolizes the basic essence of creation, how creation happened, how creation progressed, the secret of creation. That is kind of symbolized in such patterns, and those are called yantras. And this particular one is called a Sri Yantra. And it's often used in India, and in other parts of the world also maybe, because it literally means a sacred instrument, and it's often used to invoke, the divine energy. So, for example, if you see over here, I don't want to go too much detail into this because this itself will take up the rest of the reading. But I just want to point out certain aspect of this diagram that integrates or that talks about the very essence about your reading, right? So you will see over here, there are a series of interlocking triangles, right? And these upward-facing triangles, those symbolizes the male energy, the masculine energy, or the Shiva. Again, those of you who are familiar with the Vedic concept of creation, it talks about integration between Shiva and Shakti. Shiva is the eternal masculine principle or the consciousness, right? The manifested consciousness. And the downward facing triangles, they are the eternal, that life force, the Adya Shakti, the divine mother, the mother nature, right? The primordial nature, primordial matter, right? So creation happens, when the manifested consciousness interacts with the primordial matter. So it's a union between Shiva and Shakti. It is a union between the masculine and the feminine the energies, right? Or the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Right? So that's what is shown over here. And if you see, at the intersection of that, that's where the creation is happening. That's what this white prominent circle at the intersection is. And you can see all around, there's this dark blue and dark blackish. That is the deep space. That is the eternity. That is the infinity, right? And from that infinite, from that nothingness, manifest this creation. Right? That's what it's symbolized over here. And these different other white circles, they represent the different other creations. Right? It's very interesting. And then all these different colors also have different meanings. For example, the red symbolizes that grounding, that gross manifestation. And again, I don't want to go too much into this, but I think what this symbolizes is, again, that integration of masculine and feminine energies, or that integration of that positivity and negativity, the integration of consciousness and matter, right? So, and I think the reason why this card has come up is because it is telling you that you may have gone through certain downfalls or certain ups and downs in your life. You may have gone through certain phases in your life where things may not have worked out for you because I see your reading starts with this 6 of star coming out reversed, right? So the success coming out reversed, and then you have this 3 of angels or the 3 of sword coming out reversed. You also have the King of Wands. And then you have the 10 of Pentacles reversed and the 9 of Cups reversed. Right? So definitely I feel that those people who have chosen this group, they have gone through certain phases in their life, where things haven't really worked out for you. And things haven't really turned out the way you would have desired. Right? And this can happen on different fronts, right? This can happen on an emotional front. This can happen on a career front. This can happen on maybe, for some of you, more related to health, right? Whatever it is, I definitely feel most likely it is something to do with the family also, some family problems, family discord, or discord with your nearer ones. And again, it can take on different dimension, but definitely for this particular group, all has not been well, right? Particularly when you are seeing this reading, all has not been well. And so, but the particular blessing or the particular thing that I'm seeing, the particular closure that I'm seeing, that's, that the tarot is holding forward for you, is that you should be able to come out of that. You should be able to get that harmony back in your life. You should be able to get that balance back in your life. Because if you see, if you see particularly in this spread of tarot cards at the very top, there's a very interesting pattern that emerges, right? For example, it starts with the Six of Stars or the Success reversed, followed by the Ace of Tree or the Abundance upright. Right? Then again, you have the Three of Sword reversed, which is kind of good, right? Because it's not good to have the Three of Sword upright. It's better to have it reversed, right? And then again, you have the King of Wands reversed, followed by the Temperance upright. And again, you have the Ten of Pentacles reversed, and then Three of Cups upright. So these two particularly, and then this two, and then this two, it kind of presents a very a contrasting picture, right? It kind of presents a flip-flop, like going from one state to another state, right? And so I feel like the particular blessing that is being pointed out over here is you will be able to reverse your predicaments. You should be able to come out of those predicaments. You should be able to reverse your fortune, right? For example, take these two cards over here, right? You have the Success reversed, followed by the Abundance upright. And then again, you have the Ten of Pentacles reversed. So Ten of Pentacles generally talks about the overall happiness in the family, overall that a very loving environment, where you have kids and your spouse, you're all coming together. Like for example, if I take this card, see over here, it's like all husband and wife with their kids, with their pets, in a very loving home atmosphere, with a very loving, surviving, flourishing a home where there's love, there's an environment of love all around and prosperity. Now that's coming out reversed, but then followed by that you have this Three of Cups upright, which again talks about success, which again talks about victory, which again talks about that being able to once again enjoy the company of friends, do certain things with your friends, right? So in a way, it's kind of that flip-flop. So definitely, it is coming. You should be able to, see that reversal in your fortune. You should be able to see that reversal in your energy, right? So you're probably heading from, that a little bit of a darker phase to a more lighter phase. And what is being asked over here, that's why, you have this integration card, is that, overall life is all about, as I said at the very beginning, right? Overall life is all about that duality. So if you have darkness, you're going to also have lightness, right? So you have gone through this darkness, and maybe and now what they are promising is, a period of more, more light, more joy, more abundance, more success, right? But remember, unfortunately, this is again a cycle. Just like, you have gone through the dark phase, and the dark phase has now ceased, and you're entering a more brighter phase. That doesn't mean, that, you shouldn't be prepared to again encounter, maybe again a down phase, right? So that's why you are being strongly encouraged to integrate, to learn to assimilate, to learn to take it in your stride. Like when things go easy, obviously it's very easy for us to take it in our stride. We don't realize it, we enjoy that phase. And so oftentimes the good times pass off faster. We often say that, hey, I didn't even realize how time went by, in a jiffy. And that happens, when you're in a good company, when you're enjoying, when everything is going well for you, when things are flourishing, you don't realize how time passes off. Whereas, if things are not going well for you, there's a lot of torment, a lot of sadness, a lot of misery, a lot of unhappiness. Time seems to drag along. It just doesn't go as fast as you would want it to pass. But one who has integrated, one who has realized this fundamental truth that, in the creation, there will be always these ups and downs, always these ups and downs. It's like a sinusoidal curve for those of you who are familiar with signal processing and all that stuff. It's like ups and downs. So yes, you are approaching a more brighter period of time, but then at the same time, and I'm not saying that will be followed by again a darker phase. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is what Tarot is telling me is that when you enter this brighter phase, first of all, when you enter this brighter phase, don't forget whatever you have passed through. Try to learn some lesson from that so that you are ready to face or to further obstacles if they're presented in your way. That's one thing. And second thing is, you may also need to do certain things to bring a full closure, to facilitate that process. Again, remember, the blessings may come your way, but you also have to do certain things to reap the fullest benefit of that particular blessing, to reap the fullest benefit of that particular grace, right? So in your case, I think a couple of things. One is listen to your inner voice. And I think these two particular cards, you have this intuition over here, and then you have my intuition flows whenever I am still. My intuition flows whenever I am still. It says, Father, hearing inner guidance, right? So intuition. And then you have two intuition cards side by side. And interestingly, one of these two cards, either this one, or maybe both, I cannot recollect right now. One of these two cards has come up in I think at least 3 groups, which is very interesting. And that is in a way true, because ultimately what matters is, how much of your inner voice you are listening to, because your inner voice, is that divinity speaking from inside. And most of us, no matter what situation we find ourselves in, if we are following that inner guidance, if you are following that, the divine voice speaking from inside of us, inside of all of us, we can never do wrong, and we can always find the right approach. We can always correct ourselves, and I think that's why one of these two cards have come up in some of the other readings also, because no matter where you find yourself in, no matter how difficult the situation is, no matter how much the odds are stacked against you, there's always that inner voice that is guiding you, that is trying to guide you, that is trying to show you the path. But oftentimes, and most of the time, most of us, we don't listen to that. We ignore that voice, and we are fundamentally driven by our own ego, by our own whims, by our own mind, and our mind misleads us. That leads to further troubles, right? So that is one thing that you have to keep in mind, right? So as you are approaching this brighter phase, what you need to do is that first of all, follow your inner voice. First of all, follow your inner guidance and see what your inner voice is telling you to do. And one thing that your inner voice may be asking you to do is look back. So you have this retrograde card. So this comes from an astrological deck, an astrological oracle deck. Now, in general, retrograde, we use this term retrograde, when talking about, planetary motions. When certain planets, they appear to move backwards when seen from Earth, right? Then those planets are said to be in retrograde motion or reverse motion, which is actually not true, but it is just an apparent behavior. When you're looking at the planet from sitting in Earth, from your perspective, the planet appears to go back in its track. And that's when it's said that the planet is showing retrograde motion. But in your case, I think what's important is, it is saying review. right? So look back. Look back at your past actions. Couple of things. So look back at your. So first of all, obviously, hearing the inner guidance, and your inner guidance may be telling you to look back and review. Why review? See what lessons you can gather from the past. Like what mistakes you may have done in the past that you shouldn't be repeating in the future, right? So that's one thing. Obviously, if you have found certain things that you could have done differently, then you should ask yourself, or you should take certain lessons from that, so that you don't find yourself in the same predicament, in the same situations going forward. Right? So learn some lesson. Maybe also, see if you can mend some relationships. If it was caused by certain issues with certain friends or some affairs, see if there's any possibility of mending that. Right? Now, that doesn't mean you're going to repeat the same mistake. For example, if you have got bruised by a certain relationship and that particular person is not fit for you, and that particular person doesn't have your best interest in their heart, and they can only cause you trouble, then obviously there's no point in repeating the same mistake and again and going to them and trying to renew that relationship, because clearly that relationship is toxic for you. So that is another lesson. So then take that lesson to your heart and move from there, and try not to repeat such kind of relationships, or try not to get into such kind of relationships. But at the same time, if you feel like you have done certain things wrong, where either in a relationship or with certain friends where it was your behavior or it was what you may have said that may have led to certain misunderstandings, then you can try to correct that, and you can try to mend those mistakes, right? So again, depending on the kind of situation that you are finding yourself in, that you have found yourself in, depending on your particular story, this definitely the tarot is asking you to look back and review, first of all, to see what mistakes or what lessons you can learn from the past so as not to repeat them. Secondly, what bridges you can mend. What bridges you can mend, what relationships or what your mistakes you can reverse so as to get those friends back. Get those friends back, mend those relationships if it is possible. And again, if it is a particularly toxic thing and it's not going to work, then move away from that. Whatever it is. So inner guidance, looking back, reviewing your mistakes, learning from it, and then becoming all the more stronger. That's why you have the Temperance card. Getting a balance from that. Right? And again, you have this animal card over here. This is from the archetype deck. It's a very interesting card because an animal, if you look at this card, this eye is a very prominent. Right? As if this particular eye is at a very sharp focus. Right? It is looking at it something very keenly, right? Very piercing eye. What is it? To me, it looks like a couple of things. One is, this eye tells me that that you should be able to develop that sharp sense of almost like that perception. Your perception should have sharpened by now. Because of what you had to go through in the past, your perception should have sharpened by now. So you should be now more wiser, right? You should now know, again, kind of repeating what I've said before with respect to this particular card. You should now have developed a more acute perception of what things to look out for, what mistakes to look out for, so as not to repeat those mistakes, so as not to get into those same traps, right? So as to course correct yourself, right? So that's keen sense of perception, sharper focus. And second thing is, animal, when you say the animal spirit, it talks about a very raw spirit, right? It talks about something that has not been tempered with any kind of so-called civilizational trappings. right? So be more close to earth, be more close to nature, maybe go out for a walk, maybe go for camping, try to spend some time off the grid, away from social media, away from all sorts of, the modern trappings of civilizations, away from company, spend some time with in solitude, right? That is also this that's coming out from this particular card, because again, remember, when you're in solitude, that's when you can listen to your intuition. That's when you can listen to your inner voice more keenly. So that may be something that's very good for you at this moment, when you are trying to leave something behind and you are entering a new phase, right? So being more close to Mother Nature, maybe if you are interested in gardening, take up gardening, spend some more time in gardening, right? Go for a walk in nature, hiking, again, camping, something like that allows you to spend some time and think through. And again, review, introspect, listen to your inner voice. Right? And so when you do all that, that's when you will realize that what has led to all the past incidents, how you can come out more stronger through all that. And obviously at the same time start enjoying the brighter phase that is coming, that is approaching you. And at the same time, again, learn to integrate everything, both the positive and the negative, the light and the dark, the good and the bad. One who is integrating everything, that person becomes all the more wiser. And if it's like almost, you become like a yogi. Again, I'm sure most of you may have heard about a yogi. We call about these Indian yogis. And a yogi is nothing but, generally nowadays, when you talk about yogi or yoga, you generally think about certain physical exercises, certain body contortions that you have to do. You attend a yoga class or something like that. But typically yoga means union. Yoga means union. It's a union of the body and the soul, right? It's a union between you and the supreme being inside you, right? And a yogi is someone who can see life as it is, who can take life, who has been able to integrate both the positive and negative, who has gone beyond that state of duality to a state of unity, to whom, whether things are working for him or not, whether people are insulting him or not, or people are treating him well, whether he's fine, he is in a very happy, joyous situation, or he's in a very miserable situation. It doesn't matter. A yogi is unperturbed. A yogi is not moved by either of them, because he has moved beyond that state of duality, right? And obviously, that's the kind of energy, that's the kind of direction Tarot is trying to point out for you, right? So again, good things are beginning to turn. You will see some reversals happening. You will find yourself coming out from this. But at the same time, when that reversal happens, don't just get trapped by the good times. Try to learn from your mistakes in the past, and also try to get a wider perspective about not only about your past, also about what it has taught out, and also about the entire creation, like how you can assimilate the good and bad, so that you are unperturbed eventually. That's the goal of life. You should be unperturbed, right, by these ups and downs. I think that's all I had to say for this particular group. Hope it resonates with you, group number 4. And if you like the reading, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. I'll see you in another reading in the future. For now, bye.